Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bunk U. I almost said podophiles, but we're not that
I
anymore.
almost say that every week.
All right. So the topic is
We haven't been there for months. I just literally today, I was cleaning up on my computer and getting rid of a lot of the things I don't need there. So your computer tells you your drive is full. It's like, it's not. Come on, you want me to buy something. It fucks with you and it slows down. When I record all this show, my other shows, it will slow down things if I have too many things on there just to fuck with me. I'm like, all right, fine. So today I was cleaning through it and I went through it and there was the Podophile logo. It said PODO logo. I'm like, goodbye. That's the last pedophile thing that'll be in my computer.
Well,
now.
Oh, we lost Brandon.
I'm back.
He's back. Just weird. Back from the future? Yeah.
Future. That's for SpongeBob fans out there.
Nice. So the topic for today is, we know poverty has existed in every society that we've ever had. Are some people just better at being poor than others? Like, they handle it better. Like you know how Koreans are able to produce adults that pedophiles can enjoy?
Huh? No, right. Example. Koreans.
Yeah. Well, K-pop. K-pop is full of it's a bunch of adult people that look like children.
Some of them are actual teenagers.
Yeah, those are the ones that look like they're 8. That entire society looks like about 15 years younger than it should.
What is this?
I thought we changed the name of this from Podophile.
Yeah, what happened?
I'm just saying.
Name Chink's age.
First of all, I'm talking about Koreans, so that's not Chinks.
Why are you explaining without the Korean part? I don't know why you're explaining.
Metaphor.
Brandon, before you jumped in, Dave goes, "Do you want me to explain this to you?" And I was like, "I get being poor. I've been poor like for 46 years."
Okay, how about this? How about this? What I mean by some people
talk about who handles it the best.
Yeah. There you go. You need me to explain it?
No, I don't. But you can explain it to the fucking people that are watching it. No one needs to explain it. I want you to start the show. I don't want to have to jump in and do banter and fucking help. I'm trying to order a pizza on my phone because I'm poor.
Well,
everybody, welcome to the
Brad, I said to Dave, I really want to do it today. I got to get up at 3:15 tomorrow. He goes, in the AM? Why the fuck would I even complain about it if it was in the PM?
I got to get up by 3:15.
I only get 24 hours of fucking sleep.
I got to make it to the bank before they close.
If your day starts so early that it starts at 3:15 the day before in the afternoon, that's fucking early.
It does. That's when you guys start going, I can't do any of it. I can't podcast that day. I have to do things that don't matter. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I was fucking on a fucking stupid bus because of poor. We're talking about poor people. Why don't they just tell you my
you, buddy.
I got to take a bus to fucking New Haven so I can give somebody money so I can get on another bus. I had to sit there like a white dope that normally it's in this world now. I'm shocked I'm not in a fucking World Star video. I'm on the bus going to New Haven, and giant black lady's behind me, and she says to another one, "Move your fucking cart. Nobody gonna be getting on the bus. You fucking cart's in the way." The lady turned and goes, "I know you ain't talking to me." The other one said, "Well, who the fuck else has a cart?" And then another one stands up, walks over, pushes a little at the cart and goes, "I got this shit. And I want you to know I'm sitting here. Cart lady's here. Other one's here." They're just over my head yelling as I'm sitting there listening to a wrestling podcast as they're yelling, and I can't really hear much about Super Brawl 1. And that's it. They're fighting and screaming. And then a little guy turns around and just goes, "Y'all bitches need to shut the fuck up." And one lady turns to him and says, "You better not be calling us bitches." He goes, "If you acting like a bitch, you getting called a bitch." And then the bus driver stands up, stops the bus, and I thought he was going to yell at them, and he just said, "Hey, can you move your cart?" And then they kept yelling, and they kept yelling from all the way from Derby to New Haven. So 20 minutes of just shouting over my head, and I'm not trying to make any eye contact at all. And I turned my body because my neck hurt from sitting still. And a lady goes, "Oh, you getting involved?" And I know she was talking to me, but I didn't say shit. I didn't move. I acted like I couldn't hear my headphone. I had turned them off at this point because I was listening to fucking Harlem radio or the fuck I was listening to. So they're just screaming over my goddamn heads. And then one of them gets up and goes to leave. and then stands by the second door of the bus and goes, I'm getting off the bus. And the guy turns and goes, bitch, you ain't got to tell people what you do, and you just get off the bus. And then he gets up to get off the other side, and she goes, I'm getting off the bus and coming after you. And then he goes, shit. And then he goes and sits back down and doesn't get off his stop, apparently. And then the other one in the back yells and goes, I know nobody fucking with me. And nobody had fucked with that one at all. This is a different one in the back of the bus. There you go. I was there for the whole thing. I have no idea what the argument was about. They were yelling, but I know if I said one thing like, hey, it's fine, the cart's not in the way of anyone, I would have got yelled at for white-splaining everything. So I just sat there. So if you want to talk to me about being poor, I know. You want to know there's no white privilege. It's just sitting on a bus because you're not in the car, but now Dave wants to do a fun podcast about it. So let me order my pizza.
This is my
explain to me Koreans.
This is my point. This is exactly my point, Pat.
Bitch, you better shut the fuck up.
Don't be calling me no bitch.
You're going to be a bitch. You're getting called a bitch.
Dave, why did you leave your cart in the middle of the bus, Dave? What are you doing?
Because I wanted to start a fight.
Dave could not live on a bus. Dave couldn't handle it. Dave was too dainty to be on a fucking bus.
This is my point. White folks are poor. They don't have cars. Some folks are poor and they accessorize their cars. I'm just saying, that seems like they're doing better at it.
Okay, well, that's not poor. If you can afford to do shit, you're not poor. You're just spending your money wrong.
Yeah,
the difference to me between poverty and then choosing to be a retard.
Yeah, of course.
Like I got an Uber ride the other day home from my work because I had to get out at 10 at night. I put the video up on all my social media.
I saw that.
But I got in. Yeah, and it was fucking. So I get into the car and there are lights flare like a stroke's happening. Lights just bouncing every time this guy's bass came on. As he had loud EDM music on, and he was a European, like Eastern European. Hello, where are you going for your ride? I'm like, you know where I'm going for the ride. It's on the. Please don't talk to me. It's like, baby, you're all that I want. Unch. And every time unch hit, lights came up my dumb feet, and it was all over the car.
Every time the
inside the car, just fucking pulsating with the bass. And I'm like, did I get kidnapped in Grand Theft Auto? Where the fuck am I? And I'm just trying to go to fuck home. That guy works for Uber. He doesn't have the amount of money to do that to his car. He could do well, but he chooses to spend the money he makes to do that. I don't usually choose to take an Uber because I usually can't afford it, except for recently I got a raise and now sometimes I have to walk home in the rain. That's the difference between poor. He's a fucking Eurotard and I'm somebody trying to fucking survive. That's the difference. So no, poor people are really poor and they do things like use terms like, what's that called? Like, they used to call it jerry rig, but it really means N-word rig. When you would just do things because you were poor, and they would say, "Oh, they saw poor by people doing it," and that's how they got around things. That's
please,
poor.
just say it.
Fucking
just say
buying good sneakers and not having an apartment is not being poor. You're retarded. That's the difference. You shouldn't have good sneakers. You're just stupid with money.
I agree. Yeah, and Pat, for the record, your next album should be called "When the Unce Hits."
Oh, Dave
when
Unce.
The Unce
Dave's
hits.
new name. Dave Unce.
Dave Unce.
That's your new Eastern European name, Dave.
You're gonna be all chest hair and gold chains.
You're just reading chess books for audio.
Coming to the stage, Dave Unce, everybody.
Now reading To Kill a Mockingbird, Dave Unce. Atticus Finch be like. People be shopping.
Look at this guy pulling out a reference to Atticus Finch.
Yeah, I said his name right too, you bitch. Yeah, I've read. You can do that when you can't afford the internet.
Yeah, you read at the library like a poor.
I would, but I can't. It's a far walk.
I think this is actually a kind of a great topic because this is something that I was thinking about doing anyway.
Not as good as last week where we got our one fan thinking we'd shame her because we were obviously joking about women. We think all those women are beautiful. We're all losers. We would have banged any of them. Who were we? Three white men to judge people. If Chrissy Teigen came over right now and said, "You want to have sex?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do." Chrissy Teigen, sure, just for the story.
I'd be like,
with all of them.
I'd be
90-year-old Madonna right now.
I'd sleep with Chrissy Teigen, but I'd be like, I'm not going to enjoy this, and neither are you.
And she go, "How you going to tell me what I'm going to enjoy?"
Brandon, what were you saying about how awesome this topic is?
Oh, because I feel like my retirement plan is I'm just going to transition.
Retirement plan?
Yeah, that too. Retirement plan. I'm just going to transition to homelessness because I feel like the society's kind of declining anyway. So I'll be ahead of the curve and I'll be homeless and have all the good spots. And then when the other people try to come, I'm like, no, this is my field. This is my cave, bitch.
Oh, you're going cave
let's
homeless.
before we get into all the things, like all the topics of poor and all the how you want to make it racist, Dave, and that's fine. That's what this show does. I'm not mocking you. I'm telling you, I'm fine
You
with
sounded pretty judgmental there,
no,
Pat.
I was putting it out there very factual. Like, that's what this show does. I like to call it socially aware. People are like, no, Pat, that's just racist. No, it's not. When you're speaking about race, if I go, that guy's black, that's not racist. If I go, that fucking black guy does black guy things again, that's racist. And I understand the difference. But what I'm saying is, I know we're going to go there. That's all we do. We take a topic and then we somehow make it racist or sexist or gay. That's what we do. That's our gift. That's our wheelhouse. Before we do that, why don't we at least go over the fact that we all three, if we have the knowledge to do this. Dave, did you grow up middle class, poor, with money? How did you grow up?
I grew up not rich in a rich kid town and didn't figure out, I didn't know until my adulthood how little money we had. So my parents rock on, they fucking hit it and they did right by their kids, but no, we did not have money.
I'd say for myself that I grew up borderline poor / middle class. Like my dad always worked either one job or a couple. Then my mom worked also. And so but I think he saved a lot of money. So he kept us a little lower than we needed to be, I think, at
That's
some
smart.
points, but which was good because he just had money in the bank. And, but there were some times
He
that I think
didn't
it was
live
pretty
above
much
his means.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
You weren't ever.
It was the other way.
Were you having things shut off ever?
No, no.
So you weren't
just,
at that. If things
sometimes
got to be
we
that
just
bad,
didn't.
he could take care of it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Dave, how about you? If was there ever a time where like lights weren't on, or like, hey, when dinner's gonna be this box of cereal, or you had to go to a family member's house to eat something?
So I don't like talking about this. So
Well, why bring it up, Dave? This is
So
your
here's-
time. I would have brought up fucking gross women from the 70s again.
This is the shit. So my parents, between two of them, worked 5 jobs, and
who worked the 3? Or did one work 4 and one work 1 and one's an asshole?
My mom gave blowjobs.
Yeah, but between my parents, they worked 5 jobs. What'd your mom do? Nothing.
2.5.
My dad worked
Between the
5
two of them.
jobs.
My parents had 2.5 jobs per
and she
person.
worked part-time.
When she
so
did part-time,
jobs
she
per
told my
person.
dad which job to go to as he was in a walking coma. Where do I go now? Get into your car, Eurotard. It's time to play.
Yeah, I didn't find out until I was in my 30s that my mom had a debilitating gambling problem. So there was that. That's why I say props to my parents for hiding all that from us, because that couldn't have been easy.
How did she do that before the casinos were
around? I don't know what the timeline was in terms of, like, I know once the casinos happened, that's where she was really hardcore in the shit.
Casinos really started coming. Was it early 90s?
Yeah.
But early to mid, I think.
This was
like 93, something like that.
Yeah. This was something that, again, my dad just started talking about. My mom still doesn't like talking about, go figure.
I would think she's not psyched he's talking about it.
You know how your mom's a gambling degenerate?
What happened one day? Your mom said something like, "Hey, your dad didn't mow the lawn yesterday. No big deal." And he goes, "Guess who has a gambling problem?"
We had shit like, and I don't know if this was, I can never tell if this was financial or if this was just like a power struggle between my parents. But at one point, my mom canceled the trash pickup service. And my dad was she was like, well, you can just go to the dump. And my dad was like, I'm not going to the fucking dump. So we used to just pile the garbage in our garage. And it was like,
was it hoardery?
It was gross. It was disgusting.
Did you want to keep, but she didn't want to keep the shit.
Was
putting garbage there to keep the garbage.
Yeah, that was my parents fighting. But part of that was like, we couldn't afford like we need to trim. It was like we need to trim fat from like we don't have the money. Blah 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 blah. Well, we can cancel this. Well, fuck you. I'm not doing it.
Do you
So
have
there
to? I don't know. I
combination.
really don't know this. Do you have to pay to bring things to the dump? I know
Yeah,
there's certain hours you can go to.
Yeah.
I know the dump closed. I know garbage.
I know in
closes.
Milford, I know specifically the rules in Milford. If you have a pickup truck, you have to pay and you get weighed. But if you have like an SUV, you could stuff it, or in station wagon, you can
Yeah.
bring all you want and dump it.
So there's no pay. It's just you have to be. You have to just be you have to live in that town.
Yeah, I stuff
depends-
like
yeah,
Like,
we
I
used to
can't
go
go
to
to
the
the
next-
Milford dump. I got to go to the Ansonia dump, and I have to prove that I live
Yeah.
in Ansonia. Correct? Is that how the dumps work?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
we used to go to the Guilford dump because they would just take anyone's trash and they did it at a cheaper rate than any other towns.
So you brought your mom
Yeah.
there?
Pretty much.
I one of my job when I first got out of
Sure, a good time.
when I got out of
Over
high
the
school
dump.
before I went to college, I no did I go no I know what I did. I got out of high school and I went to the Navy for a couple of weeks, and when I came back I got a job for a security company called United Security. It was like out of Waterbury, and I would just sit at booths and usually this one factory in Waterbury, but they had other little spots. And one time they sent me to one, and I had to be a security guard at a dump in Beacon Falls. Like
Nice.
literally drive up the hill, go to the top of a dump. There's a little security booth. And on Sundays, you'd have to sit there to make sure nobody came in, but nobody came. Like you were on top of the hill,
Did you have
far
a
away,
gun?
and it wasn't like
Oh God.
I wasn't in charge of like people coming in and out. I was there when they were closed. So like nobody was coming. So literally for 6-7 hours, you were just alone in a booth that had a tiny heater, and it wasn't that cold out there. I think it was the fall, just at a dump. This is before like this is
Did they make you do rounds?
5. So like no cell phones or anything. Like so
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
brutal, right?
just a CD player and whatever CDs happened to be there, just chilling.
Right
What
around the
was
same
supposed to be-
time I was in the Marine Corps, and I had just got off the carrier, and they had these little things you could do to volunteer for, and I volunteered to be a military policeman. And they'd always stick me in places like that to guard shit, like out in the middle of fucking nowhere for like 10 hours. It was so brutal. I had a shotgun one time, and I was just like in the middle of the woods, like guarding this magazine that had it was like a giant where they kept the bombs all by myself, and I was just like playing with the fucking shotgun the whole time. Oh,
You could have killed yourself and nobody would have known.
I
You
know,
could have
right?
literally by mistake shot yourself, set up all the shit. That's why we didn't have any weapons, but definitely if somebody wanted to rob the Beacon Falls dump, which I guess
Yeah, you're gonna stop them.
there is a lot of things there that could have some value, especially if you're somebody who's trying to pawn things or whatever. So I understand it. You also could get hurt, and also
Yeah, kids.
or delinquents could go to and shit like that, crackheads and all that stuff. But I didn't have any weapons or any way of stopping it. I had like a walkie-talkie that didn't really go to anyone, and then like a little phone, a landline phone. It didn't go to anyone. There was no one else on the other end of it. It was far
so
away.
funny.
Yeah, if they were, because sometimes I guess they would have 2 people, but they never had 2 people at this place. So the walkie-talkies were there in case you had 2 people, but there was never 2. So I could go, "Hey, who's there?" And I could just hear me saying it on the other one. Who's there? Like it was just me. There's no bathroom. There was nothing. You just
So Pat shows up and says, I'm looking for work. And I think we got the perfect job for this guy. We're just going to have you guard this pile of trash. Could I have a walkie-talkie?
It was funny. Like I
Yeah,
need
buddy.
extra hours. They didn't want to give me that. They usually gave it to this big fat guy who loved. And this big fat guy would just go there and he would just read sports magazines because there was just stacks of old sports magazines there, and it was just
Oh, at the
you know,
dump? Yeah.
it was just like a bunch of McDonald's wrappers because it was just his booth all the time. But he took a week off and I needed extra hours. I was working at this one place in Waterbury that was a factory. It was actually set up nice. There was a booth right in front. People came in all day and night working all different shifts. And we would, every couple of hours, there was 2 people in the booth. Somebody would have to go walk around. So you'd go through and there was like 20 stations. You'd have to go through this little thing and like ding each one to prove that you went to each spot and then come back, fill out form. You were constantly moving. And it was like nighttime at 3-4 in the morning, you were doing something. But I was like, I need extra hours. They're like, all right, you can cover for this other guy. And then I went to this dump in the day and it was just like hills have eyes shit. There was nobody coming in and out. So the other shifts were like 8 hours and I could work it from like literally midnight to 8 in the morning and didn't care about being all night. But this was like the fucking 2 to 9 or whatever it was. And I just like wanted to die. Like there was nothing there. If you know Beacon Falls at all, it's where meth doesn't even want to hang out because it's so boring and stupid. So you just go up this hill and just sitting there kind of above Route 8 and just waiting for the best or hoping to die. Like there was a bird, and I remember watching that bird and just watching, and then the bird looked at me, got
His
bored,
original
and flew
Twitter.
away.
It was the original Twitter.
Yeah, there you go. That was good
That's
that you talked
tweeting in
over me for that
93.
shit joke. That was good.
I had a job where I wasn't a guard of a
Yikes.
dump. I was a lifeguard at a pool that was
By the way,
deepest
that
was 4.5
tweet.
feet.
Go ahead. Go back to Brandon's tweet. No, you're dying laugh. Do your tweet.
I was gonna say that tweet would have definitely got banned. You can't be like, "Fuck you," shitting on Twitter anymore. They're strict about that.
Oh, I do it all the time. They don't care.
All right.
As long as you don't
Police
say,
shit?
take that, chink.
Oh,
So,
Chink.
so anyway, Dave, you were saying
if you spell it,
4.5 feet deep.
upbringing of being a sexy lifeguard.
yeah.
Anyone
Well,
I knew
clearly
that was
indoors.
a lifeguard or worked at a fucking country club is not poor. So fuck off.
All right. First of all, we rented the pool from a country club.
Yeah, you had enough money to rent a pool.
I didn't own the organization. The pool was 4.5 feet deep at its deepest, and they're like, "We need someone to watch it." It's like, all right, I'll do that.
Who was getting in?
They had a bunch
You
of
have to, like,
lap
really
swimmers.
lifeguard, or were you protected?
No, I had the lifeguard. Well, I was supposed to. I fell asleep a lot because at that time I was working 3 jobs. So I'd go open the pool at 6 a.m.
Dave Hintz, the Jamaican family. My parents have 35 jobs, and I have 3 jobs.
Hey, you know,
bolts so you can handle.
What they taught me was that having jobs is fucking stupid. So I learned that lesson.
Ready? You learned a lesson? Hey, Dave, how many jobs do you have right now?
I have at least.
You have 3 jobs that I know of. You have 3 jobs.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that one.
I won't say anything, but like you have 3 jobs. Literally just said I learned my lesson, and I'm like, that motherfucker has 3 jobs.
Yeah, but I don't do any of them well.
No one said you did it well. If you do one job well, you don't need 3 jobs. You show somebody with 5 part-time jobs, I show you somebody who does 5 things poorly. Because they would have hired you full-time. I work retail. I went part-time. All the other shitheads are part-time. I'm full-time now because I'm not a shithead. Now I'm their leader. Now I'm their overlord.
Take me to your leader.
Okay, just to get into this, you guys both share this thing. I grew up poor, very poor. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 6 years old. My mom had me, my brother, my sister, my brother Jake, who was 4, my sister was 2. When they split, we had to move in with my mom's parents. And shortly after that, my mom's father passed away. My pop, we called him. And he passed away. And all of a sudden, the guy who was making money and working isn't working anymore. Now my mom is not only trying to like raise us while living with her parents, now she's helping her mother take care of this house, and her mother tried to get a job while she was getting ill. And right there, and my mom had to make a choice, kind of like you said. We could move to another town. We'd still be poor regardless. We might want to thrive a little better, or at least not stuck out as much as being as poor as we were in a different town. But my mom grew up in the town we grew up in, Cheshire, and wanted us to be in those school systems. It wanted to be familiar things. Yeah. So therefore decided to keep us there. We were when I was growing up, I didn't know anyone else that rented. We were the only people I knew that were renting or living in apartments. Everyone I grew up with had a home. We didn't have a home. Like I lived literally in Cheshire. If I had to count, I just guess quick. I lived in 8 to 10 different places in Cheshire while I lived there. We had to keep moving, finding one place that got cheaper rent when they tried to raise the rent from one to the other to another. We rented a home at one point, but it was cheaper, but like it was still renting like an apartment. It wasn't like a good home. And we always struggled, but it's like I only knew struggling. Like when I went to other people's houses to go visit, like just like my friends and stuff, and can see them just having cabinets of food, that was like crazy to me. Not that we didn't have anything. My mom worked her ass off. You want to talk about people that definitely worked a lot of jobs. My mom worked a full-time job. And on weekends when my dad would take us, she would, instead of having a personal life, she would be a hostess at a restaurant or a waitress somewhere else. And we worked never sacrificed ever having a personal life. And I'm very happy now that she's found love and from 60 to 70 now, and now can live a life. But her whole life raising us, she was around, crazily enough, we were around her all the time. We saw her all the time. At night when she come home, she'd stay up with us and hang out. But we had to learn, like when we came home, there was nobody home. Like early age, I was the one who had to make on the phone call to my mom at work. This is how you make dinner. This is how you do this. We're going to have to do that. And then my dad would call us on a Thursday, each kid got like 3 minutes on the phone, but it was just to say, how'd school go? I'll pick you up on Saturday. We'd be with him from Saturday to whatever time till Sunday morning, like not even 24 hours. My mom got 24 hours to fucking live a life or do whatever. And then whenever I had to play sports, we were all kids who played sports. Our Cheshire was like, you got to buy the latest Nikes. You got to buy this. My mom had to spend whatever dime she had so we could keep up and like sacrifice us eating or doing things so we could have the right shoes or things.
Yeah.
And it was
Shout out to your mom.
constantly and I've learned that my whole life. It also taught me one thing, and that's why to this day I'm broke, because it taught me if I'm gonna struggle, I'm gonna chase a dream. I'm gonna do everything I want to do. I'm gonna be poor. I'm gonna be poor, but at least because I want to do things right. I'm not gonna work hard just to not be happy. Now, I taught my brother the opposite. He learned I'm not going to be this anymore and worked his ass off and is very successful in doing all that. My sister worked very hard. We all have work ethics because of it. It's just one way you put it. So you can say about me, people know me like, oh, Pat, work ethic. You work retail and you do comedy. But you guys know me from comedy. I don't stop doing comedy. For every gig I get, it's constant. I'm doing 4 fucking podcasts. When I do something, I don't stop doing it. I learned it from that. But I don't understand when people spend money. I've never gone on a vacation in my fucking life. And I wouldn't even know and I've never gone out on things that weren't like work related. When someone's like go on a date, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. Like I joke about my dating thing, but it's like I can't spend that money because I need that money to do this. Even if I do now have a little bit of money, I don't really, but enough to like be okay. I'm afraid to spend it. So like I get that part where you're saying, like Brandon, what you're like saying in your family, he would hold that little bit. I'm afraid it's gonna be gone. Like I won't have that. I had to go pay for something today that I knew I could afford, but I was like, oh my God, if I do that, now I got to do this and this. I hope I have this gig. I'm like, wait, no, I'm okay. But that's constantly there. So I've learned how to get around things, but I've lived my whole life with, oh, the lights will be off for 2 days. Okay, we know where the candles are. We know what to do. That I was growing up. We just knew. The government we have the blocks of government cheese. Yeah, we ate those. We had those things. I knew
used
that.
to get those.
So I get, but I was that. But if you're gonna say that's how white people handle it, I didn't know any other fucking white people like that. I was the black fucking family in my town, except we had a black family and they had fucking money. So the black people were the white people. They had Irish last names like us, which was weird. They were the McIntoshes. I'm like, are you Irish too? Is this what happens? We're just black. No, we have money. Why are you poor? I'm like, that was
White folks gave us corned beef and cabbage. Like that was their poor cuisine.
Are you really going to do my bit?
What?
That's an actual bit. Are you going to?
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you.
You're going to do it. I do that bit, and I've done it in front of you on stage.
Yeah, and I'm saying it's a good point.
But you didn't say it's Pat's bit. You just started going into my bit.
That's fair.
Because I've always said that bit, like, but it's crazy when you take like black people and Irish people. And when a long time ago, when they were both poor, the government gave them this shit piece of meat, which we now know is brisket, but that they didn't know what to do with it then because it was so hard. And they gave it to black people, and they turned into amazing barbecue. And they gave it to stupid Irish fucking people, and they put it in their laundry, and they made corned beef and cabbage, and then that's what they eat when they celebrate punching their wife in a parade.
See, I wasn't gonna say the thing about the laundry.
You weren't going to say the best part of the bit.
Because I forgot that part. I forgot that part of the bit, Pat. That's why.
But so when we're talking about poor people, I'm only saying the backgrounds for this reason. When you bring up how people live things, I'm going to guarantee you throughout this, I'm going to go, that's not bad. That's not bad. And you're both going to be like, they're eating shit. I'm like, yeah, but it's good quality shit. It's like,
it's what do they do with the circumstance is the premise.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm going to get water. And you guys talk about, you bring up a circumstance. I'm sure I'll come back. I'm going to go make sure the lights are still
on. All right. Go ahead, Brandon. You've been nice and quiet. Thoughts are bubbling, I can tell.
Well, my dad did grow up pretty poor because his father died when he was young. And he came from a family of 8 brothers and sisters. And he was the second youngest. And his dad died when he was like 4. So, and they grew up on like the richest street in town, right near Milford Center at the time. And so they were rich. And then after that, all the money just went away because, that shit kind of happens. And so my dad grew up like really poor. It's funny. So I learned a lot from him. And we grew up, like I said, it wasn't like the best, but it wasn't the worst. Yeah. There's a few nights where it's like.
I didn't realize how little money we had until until I was an adult. Like I knew we weren't. I I grew up in Madison, so like I grew up around money, and I had friends who had money, and I grew up with a love-hate relationship because I saw my parents breaking themselves for money and never having it. But like I wouldn't say we were poor because we had a house. It was they got
In
screwed by
Madison,
yeah
shut
they
the
got
fuck
well
up.
they got screwed by a crooked
I'm on
builder.
the water. That's like Brandon saying, "Hey, I have
No,
money."
yeah,
You're near the water. You're near the water. Cheshire ain't got no water, motherfucker.
North
We got
Madison.
Waterbury. Fuck
We
you.
were in the woods, motherfucker. And my parents
Fancy bougie woods.
got screwed by a crooked builder, so our house was never finished.
Why couldn't he stand up straight? He had scoliosis. I'm the crooked builder.
He was screwed by a crooked builder. I'm in
Everything
Montolion,
he built was off plumb.
My father was
Prepare
screwed
to
by a crooked
die.
builder. Prepare to die.
I am the crooked builder. Prepare to die. Inconceivable.
Kind of look like that dude now.
Did you hear that guy?
Is he dead?
He used to stick his tongue in some lady's ear, like she just complained about it, like on some TV
What?
show. Yeah, like he's a creep. That makes
Really?
sense. The inconceivable
That guy's a
guy
creep?
is definitely a creep.
Didn't see that coming.
That's what she said. As a
Inconceivable.
tongue was darting into her stupid ear.
All right. So we've done
I
think
just
we've
wanted
done
people to know where we're coming from.
That's fair. That's
So
fair.
because the problem is with a show like this, someone's gonna see it for the first time and go, "Really? 3 white men are gonna talk about poverty?" And it's like,
Oh, whatever.
I'm just so tired of that shit. Like, I
Yeah.
understand that's a joke thing, but like, white privilege is such a ridiculous fucking set. Just a blanket shit like that is crazy. Like, I've never had privilege, and you could say maybe you could say that people stereotype me, but I know I don't get the right kind of stereo profile because maybe a cop might look at me and think, okay, he's not doing anything wrong, but my God, every time I walk down the street, some crackhead thinks I have a cigarette. I've never smoked a day in my life, you fucks. Why do you think I have a cigarette? What the fuck is that? You're looking at me, not like I'm white. Look at me like a piece of shit. Most people don't look at me like that. Most people don't look at me like I'm a fucking well-to-do fucking person. So I don't want to hear anything about white privilege.
You bring up
a age, no white people have privilege. I was on that bus being attacked by fucking Nell Carter and the bunch, just fucking dancing around me.
Nell and the Carterettes.
Because the monkey bunch got cut out of last week's podcast. Fuck you, YouTube. Because Brandon, when we played the Samantha Fox thing, they made us cut out those 2 minutes.
That's
so we say the beginning of it, and then it cuts right to the fucking end. So fuck you, monkey bunch was great. Anyway, go ahead.
Nell and the Carterettes on the bus with that.
No, Nell Carter, try harder. Go ahead. So what?
Nell Carter. Oh, she was great.
So what do you think? What race do you think excelled the best out of being like coming to this country and coming and being poor and then overcoming it?
All right, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm being serious. There's things I do know and there's things I don't. I've never been afraid to say what I don't know. So I'll go to you two on this. I don't know timeline and which people came. I know everybody didn't just come at one. Let's get not the Pilgrim and all that. When Statue of Liberty, when people were coming in, the melting pot shit. Who came in first? Who came in late? Like, I know Middle Eastern people weren't coming in first in droves. Was it mostly Eastern Europe that was coming in first?
It was the Irish, I believe, were first, and then it was the Italians and the Jews, something like that. Was it like that?
Where were the Jews coming from?
Germany.
All over.
Yeah, everybody hated the Jews. Like they were just trying to get out.
I'm just wondering where they came. They weren't coming from Israel. Yeah. They weren't coming from Jerusalem.
No, that wasn't.
No, it wasn't established yet, right?
Nope.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So when we're talking about
who still came Palestine.
Over, who was here first? There was just all the English that were turned into Americans. That's who was chilling, and then people started coming over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the what year we're talking? What 1700s?
Well, you can even say, I'd say 1800s.
Okay,
really
I'm asking. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
I know 1492 Columbus gave everybody blue balls or whatever that is, and then we move on to like the 1800s now. So when people are coming over on boats, it was the Irish,
yeah,
the Italians,
the Dutch, the Norwegians.
Hold on a second. You guys talk.
First immigrant, the U.S. immigration. So one of the things you raised kind of a different question. To my mind, it's who did better, like, and that's not what I'm looking for. Like who got to a point where they came over poor and did the best. The question in my mind is who did the best as being like, who's the best at being poor? Like,
Yeah.
who just fucking crushes it? Like the food, like the what else? Who is the most adept at being poor?
I think it's not just maybe one race, but I think if you're gonna select it the best, it's more like an indigenous tribe somewhere. Like if you go with the
Indigenous.
Yeah, but
Aborigines,
Take that, Indians.
Let's not do that's let's not do like living
All right.
before there was stuff to have.
Okay,
Because you
let's.
weren't poor if you lived in the fucking
Okay,
woods
all
and
right, all
hunted.
right. How about this? How about the people that are going into Detroit, like the younger white, I guess you call them like hippies or whatever, that are going into Detroit where there's all these abandoned neighborhoods and they're just basically setting up shop without electricity and they're living there and they have guns and shit and they're just growing stuff, you know,
Really?
like, yeah, we should
Is
get
there-
in on that. Just move there.
Well, are we doing like urban gardening?
Yeah.
Urban farming?
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. But
In
you know, so
Detroit?
I think it just
How come
depends.
every time
if-
I walk away, you guys abandon the show?
I didn't abandon the show.
How
Well,
are
that's
we
what I was talking
not
about.
for 2 seconds? How are we in Detroit? How are we going in Indians? How are we
Well,
not to where I
If,
said
if you had paid attention to the show, you would have seen
talking
you
about
followed it.
1800s melting pot people coming in, how they handled that first. Stick with it. That's how.
I'm-
That's why no one watches this show. I'm on 4 shows because I build formats. Then we run amok. Fuck the indigenous. Fuck Detroit.
That's
Fuck
what I
you.
said. That's what I said.
You don't know how to handle things. Brandon was a wizard and he'll control you. I know how to battle a wizard. I'm Voldemort. He's
With volume.
that faggot little blonde-haired kid from Harry Potter. That's who we are. I'm Voldemort.
Wait.
Brandon Snape. You're Fag. Whatever his name. What's his name? Fag Magoo. What was his name?
Pretty sure it was fag.
What
I'm
was
the
his
Oracle.
name?
I'm not telling.
Full boy. Full fuck boy. What was his name? It was
I can't
fuck
remember.
boy. What was his name?
No, Malfoy.
Malfoy. You're Malfoy.
Fuck.
You're mouth boy. That's what you do. You mouth boys.
I think
Ah!
Mouth Boy did the best
I
as a
thought we were doing podophiles.
Who
Mouth
came
Boy.
over? Okay, so people came over.
Yeah, the first.
The Irish were like basically the slaves when they got here.
Yeah.
They got the shittiest jobs, right? Because they thought it would be the stupidest. How about the Polish? The Polish came over and they were treated like tards.
I think every race that basically came here was treated like shit until
Yeah.
they
Didn't
got
the
it.
Yeah,
Italians
basically.
establish their own kind of businesses and kind of like keep to their own and do the best at like making money
Well,
for themselves?
Everybody did that, but that. But they
Making
came
money. The
over and
Irish
they-
were just poor.
Yeah, well, the Irish were they were at the bottom rung. Then they got the reason
They got
there's
a
such
civil service.
yeah, exactly. The reason there's all those jokes about like Irish cops and blah 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 is because those were the jobs they could get. So they fucking
What
dominated
are those
them.
jokes about the blah blah blah?
About two Irishmen walk into a bar and someone's like, "What are the police doing here?"
No, that's the Irish cop joke. I want to know the one about the blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
That's all I got. Go again.
I could tell you, I know the race that did the worst at being poor, and that would be, to bring it back to, it would be the Native Americans, the Indians, because they did so shitty on the reservations. They just got alcohol and went fucking like off the rails. So
Yeah.
they were
And they had
terrible
the
at being
best
poor.
outfits of everybody.
Yeah.
I remember that when you were even when we were kids, you still could kind of do it, but that's the best that you could just be. What are you being? I'm being an Indian.
Just take your shirt off and
I'm
put a
just
feather in
dressed
your head.
up like a guy.
Like reservation Native American is like grunge. That's
Think about it,
their
like
outfit. Their
they
look.
can live in a field and in the woods and they're fine, but you put them in a fucking trailer park with a little bit of fire water and fucking off the rails, like they just can't do it.
Well, I don't think anyone's doing great when in that trailer park with a box of wine.
Fire.
No one's
fire water.
thriving.
Brandon, I know what you mean, but let's get
Yeah.
into that for a minute. They were doing well, and not. I mean, by doing well,
Well-
it's just they were surviving. But survival was just the only goal. The second you got moved into a condition where there's goals, real ones, of like what it means to be doing okay. You're living in a trailer park. You're supposed to have a regular job now. They can't just go hunt and then read the river and figure out where they're gonna go and just fuck whoever. Now they have to literally match up with other kind of people in society and things where they weren't doing that. So yeah, they're gonna fail because like this is not what we're trained not to do this. We're based
Yeah,
hunting dogs. We're hunting dog humans, and now we're here we're Sherpas and shit. And now we're walking around.
Sherpas
You ever
and
hear of
shit.
Pocahontas, our favorite? That's what we did. Lewis,
The one we
Clark, and
kept.
Tonto, whatever that movie was. The three of them would hang out. That shit. So of course they failed and did terribly and just drank. Because when they got over there, we also gave them booze because we're like, oh, you guys are red and it's gross. Let's kill them. That's what we did. We're like, look how gross you are. Why are you talking that well? What do you mean? Like, you're not. We taught you this language and you say it better than us. Stop talking like that. Like, why would they? I would give them booze too. I hate they drank Fireball though. Why do you need cinnamon booze? You fucking fruits.
Well, they call it fire water, which is even worse because it's like they're Native Americans. Fire water, they just trick you.
How's that a buddy's father's funeral on
Woo!
Thursday, and the aftermath? My brother was trying to get me to drink Fireball the whole time.
What is fire water?
Firewater is just general booze,
Gasoline?
No,
whiskey.
fire. There's a thing actually. It's a brand, fire water, and it's
It's a brand now.
I think it's like cinnamon schnapps or some bullshit like that or something.
No.
But yeah,
Not Fireball. Fire water, I think was like a moonshine type thing.
Firewater. Yeah, it was something. I remember back in the day we used to drink. But it was cinnamony though, so I don't know. Maybe it was cinnamon whiskey.
Maybe
they
you
just
were
called it
drinking
fire
a
water.
dentist backwash.
Yeah, that could have been it. Orthodontist probably.
Okay, Native Americans handled being
Firewater
poor poorly, right?
Yeah.
They were bad. Native Americans were never rich, but when asked to adapt, they didn't thrive in it. You don't ever hear about the factory run by Native Americans, ever. You don't. I'm being
Just
serious.
the casino.
Might be
That's
one
all.
they would fight. They would box you, or they would stand outside of a cigar shop until they froze that way. That was their jobs. So they suck. If we're gonna say they're like the worst.
There it is.
But
they're the worst at being
They
poor.
were better at being homeless than they were at being poor.
I could see like a Native American fight with his dad, like, but I don't want to go into the family business, but you got to stand in front of the cigar shop. That's all we can do. But I don't want to stand in front of the cigar
Listen,
shop.
standing bitch. That's why we named you that.
I want to be on
standing
Broadway.
there.
I want to be on Broadway, Daddy. No, you got to stand in front of the cigar shop.
Why did they do cigar? Why was that a thing?
Runs through fields of daisies. You have to stand in front of a cigar shop. Sorry, go ahead. Right.
Because you want some racism?
Yeah.
They were in front of cigar shops because we would. What do you when you think about the old West and movies like that? You think about Indians and then smoke, and that was the whole thing. So they're in front of the smoke shop. The Indians would be out there because most things were lit on fire by the Indians, or we were killing them, and that was just like that's their thing. They would just chill there.
Peace pipe.
And also they also grew tobacco. They also knew where tobacco was. They could find shit outside.
Until we put it in
Native
trailers.
Americans were just the crackheads of the day.
Yeah.
They weren't on crack, but they knew how to find shit and kind of survive. And you kind of just went, oh, look, there's one of those. And don't fuck it.
I'm trying to find why they happen, the cigar store Indians.
Why they what?
Why they became a thing.
There are statues of Native Americans in front of fucking cigar shops.
I thought you explained that pretty well, Pat.
I did it. I don't.
Yeah, okay.
By the way, Brandon, to be clear, because you know me, none of that was factual.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Paddle. It sounds like it could be real. You have to I'm fact checking.
I kind of figured it might have been, but I didn't care. I was like, let's
no,
just
I'm probably like 80% right.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty.
I'm thinking dark shit in confidence while eating a pizza. People believe you.
Tobacco.
What kind of
peace
pizza?
Pipe.
I've been eating the pizza like half the show.
What topics?
I got spinach and mushroom.
Not a big fan of mushrooms.
I don't care. I'm not giving you any.
Yeah, it's a dick move, is all I'm saying. Fucking mushrooms and
Tell
spinach.
your parents to get a 6th job making pizza. You don't like mushrooms? Hey, ask your mom if she wants to bet on that.
I'm all in.
I'm sorry.
That's what she said.
No, I actually am sorry. That was wrong. Ask your mom if she wants to borrow
this is
my
what
CD
happens.
of the gambler.
This is why I don't share. I bear my soul. Pat, could you do me a favor? Could you shove some more pizza in? That was kind of hot.
Hey, when your mom was folding the clothes, did your dad go, you gotta know when to fold them?
No, she didn't do laundry.
Every time you go outside, there's like water back there, so it's in the river, and she just threw 6 cards in the middle of the table. Someone has a gambling problem.
You know,
Is your neighbor African American John, or she called them Blackjack? I always knew. I hate when he turned 21.
after that, it was all downhill.
Your mom had a gambling problem.
I don't know if "had" is the right way to describe it.
What's such a
Is that
white
the casino
person
now?
thing? We had enough money to gamble.
Well, that's
My
important.
mom never bought a lotto ticket. We needed it. We couldn't afford the dollar to play lotto.
Well, apparently neither could mine.
You know why? You know why we didn't? You know why? I know we don't talk about a lot of things, but that's weird what one of your jobs is now.
This is me owning my addiction.
Did you ever think about that?
Yeah.
Like, right? Hey, mom. Boom. Boom.
It's weird. Now all of a sudden I'm the favorite son.
Well, ever
Okay,
since
so
you found out you have no influence.
Native Americans stink. How'd the Polish do? Polish came over.
That's a good question.
They started a bunch of clubs. They started these Polish
Yeah.
American clubs
They all
everywhere.
did.
Yeah.
I
that
know
was a
you're
good
kind of
idea.
joking there, but they all did. That's where those really come from. That was them having a place to go, and now keep it that way. But that's what they kind of did. But they weren't called fun clubs. You didn't join a thing. It was just like the bar they drank at. And then everyone knew that's where the Polacks are.
Well, it's because that's the only place we let them.
The Polish were
them-
considered stupid. This is not me making this up. This is real. The whole stereotype of the stupid comes from their accent when trying
Yeah.
to speak English makes them sound dumb. It's just the way their voice sounds. We would go, oh, they sound stupid because their accent sounded like Russians do too, but
Yeah.
even a harder way. So we go, oh, they're stupid. But they
It's-
also didn't understand a lot of things we were teaching them because it was different over there, so they just didn't get it.
It's the
So-
same. It's the same reason. Like the Southern accent is usually like people think that people who speak
'cause
with
the
a
people in
drawl
the
are
South
dumb.
are fucking retarded. That's a different.
Yeah, but it's because they all talk like that.
Find me the Madame Curie of fucking Alabama.
I
For a
just
second, I
had-
thought you meant Madame Tussauds, and I was like, I don't even know that they have a wax museum down there.
All they got down there is
Too
Madame
hot.
Legerhood. That's what they got.
I think that's kind of like an advantage that some people from the South have, because if they are smart, people are just gonna discount them and think they're stupid. So
They can sneak in.
Yeah.
They're
There's
like,
a lot of
oh,
things they
seriously,
can
they
do.
were like,
To the South.
you're right, Paul. I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah,
Chime in there.
exactly. Like, oh, this guy's just a well-meaning idiot. He's like banging her wife. Oh yeah, don't worry.
The ones that came over here, the races that showed work ethic, the ones that weren't afraid to just go work, were the ones that didn't really thrive, but they survived. The Polish,
Mhm.
the Irish. The Irish didn't work as hard. They didn't. They were because they drank harder. They really did. There was a whole thing coming over. Not that the Polish didn't drink, but the Polish could work
Polish
through
drink.
drunk. They could work through vodka. They could. And the Polish were the ones in factories and things doing that labor, the job. They were the Puerto Ricans of their day or the Mexicans of their time. Like they would do the job. You're like, who the fuck does that? The Polish people taking on jobs. Why are they taking on jobs? These Polish people. But they wouldn't work at, like, boilers and fucking places like that because they didn't give a fuck. They would just do hard labor, sleep for an hour, and go do it again 7 fucking days a week. That's why
Old
Polish people
Ricans.
said they also, you find out, think about how, if you think about places that thrive still, like Polish delis and markets, and think about all other places, those have always stayed the test of time because they support each other better too. You know about the pierogi places and the kielbasa places from hundreds of years because they support each other. A new Puerto Rican market's coming up every week. No one gives a fuck because they're selling weed in the back.
There's also some good Polish food,
In the back.
like Polish ham, Polish sausage.
You just named 2 things. and people were Polish
Pierogies?
about it.
Yeah, pierogies.
I think that we should go
Brandon,
around.
hold on.
Yeah.
Is Dave fucking retarded or am I lagging?
You said pierogi. I'm
And
agreeing with you.
kielbasa. I named things and you
Yeah.
paused, and your rebuttal to me was the things I said.
Yeah, no,
So
I'm saying
far in this show, you
Yeah.
have stolen my bit, And
Yeah.
then you fucking repeated things to me. And then you told us that your mother has a debilitating gambling problem. This is what you've brought to the table.
So listen, Pat, I'd love to have this conversation with you, but I got to go because I got to walk to work. I got to be there. I got to leave now so I can make it to the job that I have.
Yeah, I do. I
No,
have to do that.
Yeah, stealing
I'm
that
only
from you.
working one job. I have two. One of them lets you open for me, you bitch. So that's what the other job does. So you better get gas in that car, motherfucker, so you can go do a show with me.
When
gas
is that
up, bitch.
confirmed, by the way?
Yeah, that's good. July 3rd.
I should mark that down. July 3rd. Good.
Where's this?
City Steam.
Nice.
So come see me July 3rd at City Steam.
Yeah, I might be there too, doing the most time. You, me, and Bobby Tamburo.
Come see me on July 2nd. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
And my son Seamus' birthday.
Yeah, and Seamus' birthday.
Oh, no shit. Happy
And
birthday to
Andy,
Seamus, too.
I'm a rapist sharp from Joker's Wild's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
all three have the same birthday. It was always so weird.
we can actually do an episode about just July 2nd because of all the crazy things I was looking back in history
gotta write
that
that
happened on July 2nd, like Roswell fucking happened, like
Did that really happen July 2nd?
yeah, like a bunch of crazy stuff. But anyway, I was thinking about poor people and with the Polish thing, what I was gonna say was bringing it back.
Anyway, it was awesome. Anyway, I was thinking about poor people, thinking, how poor are they?
How poor? Like, are they pouring water? Is it pouring rain?
So poor I can't spell poor.
We should all do a Polish joke. We should go around the horn and do a Polish joke.
All right, who wants to go first?
I'll go first since I thought of it.
Trying to remember them all.
Why does the new Polish Navy have glass bottom ships?
Because the screen doors kept sinking.
So they could see the old Polish Navy.
Go ahead.
I like that one.
That's my favorite one.
Man, all I got is a stupid, like, waterproof sponge, screen door,
Do the
submarine.
joke. No, don't just yell the
What? What is a Polish? What's some famous Polish inventions? The screen door for a submarine, the waterproof sponge, the solar powered flashlight.
I like the classic. How did the Polish guy break his arm raking leaves? He fell out of the tree. That's one of my favorites because he just retarded.
How do you get a one-armed Polak out of a tree?
Wave to him.
Wave. Yeah.
That one I knew. Damn it.
Okay, so my favorite one of those actually involves a Polish guy and an Irish guy and a Chinese guy. But it's not really a Polish joke, but it's got all three of them. This is the joke. One of the first jokes I was ever told as a kid. It's a pretty well-known joke.
We'll segue into Chinese after this.
Right. So when I was a kid, this was a joke I learned very early on, and I like telling it because it taught me how to do the awful voices I do today. So there was a mine, and they were hiring people. All the immigrants are coming in, and they're hiring people to do labor, and hiring anyone comes in. So an Irish guy comes in, and they're like, "We need you to do your job. We're doing the mine." And the Irish guy, "What can you do?" And he's like, "You're not that big and strong, so we're gonna have you push the cart. When people break the rocks, you're in charge of that. You're in charge of the cart." Big stupid Polish guy comes in. They're like, "Well, you're not that smart. You're not gonna be able to help us think of that, but you look strong. So we're gonna give you this hammer. You're gonna smash the mine, and you're gonna break up all the coal, and you'll put that in there." This tiny little Chinese guy comes in. They're like, "What are you gonna do? You're not strong. You can't push a cart. You're not a monster. You can't break things. You'll be in charge of supplies. When anyone needs supplies, you'll handle that, okay?" And he just looks. The guy leaves. The guy in charge leaves. The foreman all day. The Polish guy is smashing rocks and crushing them. Irish guys load him in the carts, pushing away. No one's seen the fucking Chinese guy all fucking day long. They have no idea where he is. By the end of the day, they come back. The foreman's like, "All right, you guys did a great job. Where's the Chinese guy?" And everyone's like, we don't know. We haven't seen him all day. I guess he quit." They're walking down the hill. They're coming around the corner. The Chinese guy pops out from behind and goes, "Supplies!"
I just remembered another Polish joke.
Go for it. That joke is just, that guy can't talk.
Supplies.
So there's a transvestite hooker hanging out in the alley, and all of a sudden the largest man he's ever seen in his life, big, burly, mean-looking motherfucker, big Polish guy, walks in, says, "How much?" And he says, $50. They start going at it hard, and from behind, and the
Who?
the sex people.
Polish guy's fucking the
Polish guy's
transvestite.
fucking the hooker. Yeah, so the Polish guy's fucking the hooker, and now the transvestite he's getting
Wait,
scared
The
because
Polish guy does not know.
no,
she's a
he doesn't know that he's a
You've
transvestite.
not told this joke well.
So there's a transvestite who's getting fucked by a Polish guy who doesn't know that he's a transvestite.
Stop. Ready? I'm gonna help you because that makes me mad. You tell us
You're still on my bet.
A Polish guy, big giant Polish, big guy you ever seen, walks into an alley. He turns the alley and sees this woman, and he's like, oh, he's drunk, he's whatever, he's horny, and he just goes, hey, you a hooker? And he hears, yes. He goes, how much? And she says, whatever. And then he just throws the money down and just boom, bends over the hooker, starts fucking the hooker. Go ahead, Dave.
Meanwhile, the hooker is actually a dude.
Yeah,
and he gets
told us up front. You gave us the punchline at the beginning. We want to go supplies.
So the hooker gets a hard on, and the Polish guy says, "I gotta feel your twat," and he reaches his hand around, and
her in the twat.
No, he's fucking her in the ass.
Oh, in the cornhole. I thought it was behind.
Yeah. Well, he's a dude, so he can only be fucked in the ass.
He doesn't know that.
But he doesn't know that. So he thinks
the Polish guy in non-Polish voice says,
"Yeah." So the Polish
my voice.
So the Polish guy says, "I gotta feel your twat."
Why does he sound like me?
Because why not?
I don't like this.
Look, if Ben Ortiz can do the same voice, whether he's talking of impersonating his transvestite friend or
no, why you gotta talk about that? Because sometimes that's what I do. It's what I talk about all the time.
Penalties and penalties. Come with Joker's wild.
All right. So the Polak grabs the cock in what?
And no one cares anymore.
Do the punchline.
He says, "Hot damn," in one side, out the other.
Oh, he thought it was his dick.
Yeah. It's a good joke.
Can I tell a racist joke since we're doing this? There's nothing to do with anything we've saying, but I like this. Is another joke I heard when I was younger. I like it a lot.
I feel like there's no right way to answer that question.
All right. So this guy goes golfing, right? And he goes to the golf course, and he says, all right, I'll get a golf cart. And I'm like, we don't have the golf carts anymore. We don't have a caddy. Like, we don't have caddies anymore. We're trying this new thing. We've got, this one, the Brandon. So we have these new robot caddies. He's like, what? I don't want that. He's like, no, they're great. They're wonderful. They help you out so good. He's like, I don't really want that. He's like, it's for free. Well, we're trying everybody try them out. And I'm telling you, it'll improve your game. So the guy's the robot's pulling the thing, and the robot's suggesting things. Use your 3 wood. And the guy's ignoring. He's like, I'm not listening to this thing. But he's having this tough game. So about like the 4th hole, he's about to do a second shot, and then the robot's like, use your 7-iron. And then he's like, you know what? I'll listen. Pull out the 7-iron. Like 3 feet from the hole. From then on, he's like, fuck this. Robot's the best. Played the best game of his life from then on because the robot caddy was amazing. Comes back 2 weeks later and goes, I'll take one of those robot caddies, please. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, we don't have them anymore. Like, what do you mean? They were amazing. It's like, yeah, well, they were shiny, so shiny that the sun would reflect off them, and it was having some people on the other courses have trouble seeing. So why didn't you paint them black? Yes, we did, but then 3 of them showed up late, and the other one robbed us. It has nothing to do with black people the entire time. It's just a dumb joke, and at the end, black people.
That's terrible.
All right, so the Polish, they're not the worst at being poor.
No,
they've survived. They've adapted. They're not that they're like flourishing throughout the country, but there are sections of Polish people still. Where your Polish section is in every part of America.
Yeah,
because we don't know where our Native American section is. There's a pipeline being guarded.
The question is who's the best at it.
I got nothing for that.
Or a casino.
I know you see. Thank you, Brandon. But the pipeline was a better one than the casino because that was a deep cut.
Shit.
All right, so name one, Brandon.
Name
a stupid race,
an ethnicity or race or something. How about Italians? Let's do them. Because you know, some people say that they made successful, but I don't know, man. Have you seen Jersey Shore? I think they
Yeah, but
peaked and then they went down, you know.
They didn't
I
even
think
peak. They
that's a
just
good
brought.
example.
They just brought organized crime here.
Ow.
But I didn't say it was a high peak, you know,
Yeah.
like
No, I'm saying but they brought organized crime.
yeah.
I think that's a good example because like
I think well, hang on really quick. I
Yeah,
think
go
just
ahead.
with the organized crime, I think they just like modeled it well. They saw what the government was doing and just did it on a smaller level, you know. They're just like, oh, we'll just do our own protection money and taxes. Here we go, you know, pay us now instead.
I understand that logic, but they weren't seeing that. It wasn't like there was the internet or no. They just that's what they did over there. They that's how they policed
the
over there. They
Italian
brought
government,
that
right.
over here. They were going to protect themselves, and they came in with that. But instead of doing it like to flourish or make themselves better, they did it to fucking at the expense of others.
Yeah, and that's actually where a lot of those ideas, you can argue that's where they came from because of like the Pope and Rome and all that crap. So I think they just kind of took it upon themselves without a religion to just do it, or you know what I mean, or without a government authority. They're just like, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna do it, and if you don't listen to us, we're gonna break your legs. You don't gotta like the Pope is like pray to God or go to hell. They're like, just give us money or you're gonna break your legs. Worked.
Well, it always works when you take advantage of the ones under you.
Yeah.
So
but
remember that, kids.
The question is though, whose fault is it? If there's like more people in there of the mob, they're kind of just letting it happen, you know. Got to get together, and I don't know.
They were together pretty.
Yeah, but there's more.
They're like the most together.
Yeah.
Italians don't stop being Italian. Like Italians remind you, Italians are like teachers and troops. They don't stop telling you what they are.
Troops.
They don't
Can you imagine an Italian troop that's a teacher?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
They're just so loud. It has to be the loudest creature in the fucking world. I know black people get a rap for being loud, but Italians are fucking loud. They're loud.
And they have what if they drive a Saab too? Ugh.
And then they make a joke. It's my. Do you ever hear I got this car? It's a sob story. It's like, all right, you fuck. I hate this. I hate you.
Story.
Italians are loud. They're arrogant, and they're fucking very cocky for a thing that shouldn't be. They're orange. They're
thing
weird.
that shouldn't be.
They're women.
Yeah, they're just a mix, right? Like
if you tell me someone's a hot, if I tell you I think someone's a hot Italian woman, I'm confusing a Jewish woman because Jewish women are way hotter than Italian women. I'm saying it out loud right now. They're not. Italian women are weird looking. They got one face.
Who's a hot Jewish lady?
Who's a hot Jewish lady?
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many.
Like,
hit me. It's just like I've met many a hot Jew.
Well, but I mean, like there are hot Italian women too. Like
no, they're
just
not.
European.
Black haired, pompadoured, just sitting.
I do.
They're so hot. Why do they have so many Goombas? Why do they gotta only fuck them when they're 21? Why do they have to treat them like gremlins and fucking?
No.
You gotta turn them over.
Don't feed them after midnight.
Italians
don't feed them gabagoo after midnight.
Oh, you gotta let.
And then they turn into a fucking super douche.
Okay. Italians don't have much of a shelf life.
I'm stupid.
Italian women don't have much of a shelf life, but like when they're hot, they're hot.
Hey, you know what's on the shelf? My gravy. Hey, we're walking in. We're walking in.
Yeah.
My kids and I have not stopped yelling that for a week.
You want macaroni?
Anyone walks by, we're like, "Hey, we're walking in." Just been yelling it at like
walking here. That's funny.
There are plenty of hot Italian women.
The Italians suck, but they handle it fine. They thrive. There's restaurants.
What about Greeks? We didn't talk about Greeks at all.
We haven't talked about many.
Like talking about Italians.
Part 2. We've gone an hour already, and I don't want to go.
Oh yeah.
Because we got into Dave's mom's gambling problem. So, because your mom had the over on this.
I couldn't fit. Fuck you.
You think his mom like was betting that he'd never talk about this?
I bet she did. So yeah,
she just lost like $50.
Joking aside, the Italians are flourishing. There's a million Italian restaurants, Italian-run businesses. They're all over the place. They survived, adapted, and I know most Italian people, if they are, you want to talk about poor and coming together, Italian people have always come together. The whole family's a unit, like a village. So if you're broke, I was Irish, we were broke, we were on our own. We didn't have cousins or other Irish people saying, we're going to help you out. But Italians, even if they kind of know you, for the most part, they all come together to make sure everyone's eating. They all got their Sunday food. They're all taking care of each other. They've learned how to survive in poverty.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how my family was because, like,
hold on, Dave's almost saying words.
Yeah,
He's
I
about to
said.
argue with the best point I've made all fucking day.
No, I agree with your point. I've been agreeing
Then
with your
just say
points.
okay.
No, but what's tripping me up is you keep saying
Gabagoo.
flourishing, and I keep thinking that means like got out of poverty. That's not the point. But you're right. Who is the best at
Why are you
surviving
thinking
in
I'm
it?
not thinking?
Because you keep saying flourish, and flourish is like to succeed, to prosper.
No, it's not. It's to flourish.
Yeah, it is. No, it's not like
flourishing
no.
in their
First of all,
time. They aren't
no.
poor anymore. They're not all. When you think about poor people, as all, you don't think of Italians as the poor people of our country right now.
But that's not the point. The point is it's
Dave,
who
you
is
never
the best
explained
at
the
being
fucking
poor.
point of this podcast.
I tried it with a great
No,
Korean analogy,
Koreans
and
are
then
weird,
I
and
bared
mom
my
is
soul. No, because if it was who did the best, who was the poor and then flourished, it would be the Jews because they were poor and now they're not. Like all of them. It's who's the most creative,
Jews
who's
weren't poor.
the best at being poor while they're still poor. Like, yeah, like okay,
That's
white
not the
folks.
point.
White
That's a stupid podcast that would have lasted 4 minutes. What I've done with this is make
we didn't do that
I've
4 minutes.
flourished.
You're like a rug.
You know what
You're an
else
asshole with
flourishes?
5 jobs. You can't focus on one. I'm focusing on one job, making it
One
better.
Pat, you know what
Brandon
else
nodded off
flourishes?
on heroin 3
I'm
different times during
collecting
the show.
jobs.
You know what else flourishes, Pat?
No.
What, Brandon?
I heard that you can put it on your food and it makes it good. What else flourishes? You know what else flourishes, Pat?
Flour. Flour. Nutella. It's Italian peanut butter. Gabagoo.
You know what you can put on your gabagool to make it spicier?
Oh, I'm not doing an ad this week.
Dave knew exactly what I was doing.
Yes.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Oh.
You know who's not poor? The people that own Silk City Hot Sauce. Because they're taking all poor people's money. Boom. But not a lot of it. Just if you're poor, you
Just
can afford
enough.
to have Silk City Hot Sauce. Go over to silkcityhotsauce.com. You can afford it. I don't know. If you can't, you're poor. If you need a coupon, use POS. And then you save 50% off. And then you won't be poor. I don't care if you're a fucking Polak, a Chink, a Jew. I can't say that.
And a neighbor.
Won't you be my hot sauce? Them, the Scots, the mix, whatever you are, you can spick. What's that one a little hard? A conquistador, whatever thing you are. You want to make your food better, you go to SilkCityHotSauce.com. It's, you know what it's the melting pot of fucking flavor. That's what it is. You get over there. Fuck you, Statue of Liberty. It should be a statue of a dragon holding Silk City Hot Sauce because they're amazing. They're wonderful. They have tons of kinds of flavors. Everything you want, from mild to motherfucking wild. You get on there. They got syrups. They got jams. They got fucking ciders. Everything.
They have cider?
Get on over there. Use your promo code POS, and you can save 15% off. Buy some. It's great. Give it as a gift. I use it all the time. Fucking go get it. I think we should do a part 2 on this next week because we didn't even get into the Greeks, like you said. I want to get into the Greeks. I want to get into the Jew. Dave did a spoiler. I thought Jews are going to be the closer. He starts yelling because Dave's
because it's not about
fired up. Why can't we just
because
you
hijacked the show.
You couldn't handle it.
What's that?
We finally had a format and you couldn't handle it.
You're getting away from my vision.
Your vision
Well, that's he thought we were supposed to bring something for Matt, so he brought his boner.
Oh, Matt's a dude.
Yeah,
I get it.
Guy from the
Matt,
train.
right?
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
for Matt? That's right.
Why did you have one specific dude in mind, Brandon?
Yes, that's you're saying
Brandon,
I can
who's
get
Matt?
that one dude.
It was just
Who's this
Matthew.
random man? I don't think we covered it enough, but next time we should also cover how it is funny that as children, people dressed up like Native Americans. What are you? I'm a human being. That's my game. I'm playing human being.
Yeah, because at least cowboys look at
everything
job.
else is a profession, or
Yeah.
you're a criminal, or you're a guy. I'm just a guy. There's a guy outside who's was so silly looking. I dressed like him for fun.
We're gonna play cowboys and Jews.
Like,
See, it
imagine if
just
you were a
doesn't-
kid and you're like, what are you dressed like? Oh, faggot. Like, what are you doing? I just got like a shirt tied up in a knot and spandex on with junk hanging out. I'm fucking going, hello, and just walking around. What's my son playing faggots and Indians?
What's your costume, little boy? Oh, I'm a Jeff.
Yeah, but you know that you have to do whatever Jeff is. That would kind of work for like
Just
native.
khakis.
I'm the native Jeffican. I'm just Jeff.
Where do you? I'm someone from Michigan.
Yeah, but once again, you guys are it's one small place, but there were every kid. You could go to a store and buy a headdress and fucking
And that was the costume.
I'm a guy. It's my guy action set.
That's what. Well, I'm saying that's what it's like. It's like just saying, "What are you?" I'm someone from Chicago, and
But it's
I'm
even
an
bigger
Indian.
than that because because people from Chicago, even though they are working on killing themselves, there's a lot more people from Chicago than there are from fucking Native American land,
Oh yeah.
wherever they're from.
There was
Chicago.
there was
Like
there was
Milwaukee.
way more than we were ever even told. They said there was thousands of cities on the
And then that's
Mississippi
gonna go into a
River.
whole thing, and I gotta go to bed.
I know. I'm just telling you. All right, guys.
Put down your peace
Right.
pipe. All right,
Smoke 'em, peace
Brandon,
pipe.
tell them where they can get your book.
Shadowworked.com. You can get my book at shadowworked.com. Donate there, and I'll send you the electronic PDF, the EPUB or PDF. And also check out my podcast, The Tarot Bowl, TAROBULL.com. It's there. We've been having guests lately, and it's been a lot of fun. So check it out.
Nice, and I will let you know soon when I can get on there. It's just been crazy, but I definitely want to come on soon.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Dave.
You can check me out at City Steam on July 3rd. Go ahead
Oh,
and
really?
go to Pat Oates' website for ticket
I don't have a
information.
website. You
Son of
have
a bitch!
I'm too poor to have a website. I don't know if that date's up yet, but you can go to comedycraftbeer.com to get those dates and stuff.
Sweet.
Please go over to our YouTube channel, the Pat Oates YouTube channel, subscribe. It'd be wonderful to have you there. If you're anywhere you listen to us or watch us, subscribe to that as well. And get over to my Patreon, the Pat Oates Patreon. We have a brand new show that'll be Patreon exclusive. We've been doing POS and POS retail. POS retro is coming. We're going to go over old stories from the past and then make fun of those and see what the shit is and that. Yeah, so with 3 shows like that, I'm pretty sure this is one of the last episodes I'll be doing with these 2. So I'll be doing something weird. But tune in next week to see if I'm poor enough to be on the show with them.
I'm betting you will be.
Oh, yeah, so is your mother.